It's Tuesday, the 9th of December 2025. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes, let's go. Story number 1, Treasurer Jim Chalmers yesterday said federal energy rebates will finish at the end of the year. He has ruled out a second extension.
The Energy Bill Relief Fund initially provided a universal $300 per household rebate for the 2025 financial year. That was paid in quarterly instalments, and they added another $150 to cover up until the end of this month. But that is where it will end. Rebates for household electricity bills have cost the Commonwealth almost $7 billion since they were introduced. Chalmers yesterday said enough is enough.
His comments come as speculation increases about major reform in next year's federal budget, which we might get a little hint about next week when the mid-year economic and fiscal outlook is released.
Yeah, there's a bit to this. Government spending has been propping up the economy. Experts say it's time for a change. If that happens, that should help productivity, which is one of the biggest economic problems in Australia. A report from Deloitte released yesterday shows a likely drop in the budget deficit this financial year, but then an increase. Now, if you look at the budget and you want to know whether the government's supporting the economy, how big's the deficit? The bigger the deficit, the more it's supporting the economy. So the Deloitte report suggests the government won't really be pulling back. On top of all this, we've had Prime Minister Anthony Albanese saying the May budget would be the starting point for long-lasting economic and social reform. And maybe we'll just get a touch of that in the mid-year review, MyEFO, which comes out next week. We wait and see, Michael.
And of course, Sean, it's a big day today for interest rate watchers. While the RBA board is unlikely to shift the official cash rate at 2:30 today, it is very possible that Governor Michelle Bullock might just hint that the next move in interest rates is up.
Yes, a few people think that. HSBC chief economist Paul Bloxham, a former Reserve banker, he thinks that. BT-Shares David Bassanese thinks a board member advocating a rate hike today isn't out of the question. AMP Shane Oliver, who's been supportive of a rate cut, now thinks rates are on hold. Wouldn't be surprised if the RBA sounds just a bit more leaning towards lifting rates.
Okay, moving on to story number 2 now. The pressure is building on Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to take action over Communications Minister Anika Wells' travel schedule after it emerged that she billed taxpayers almost $9,000 for return flights so her husband could attend the 3 AFL Grand Finals when she was Minister for Sport. Her 3 children also received publicly funded flights to Melbourne on each occasion.
Another day, another revelation. Yesterday's was that in 2022, 23 and 24, she and her husband flew from Brisbane to Melbourne for the AFL Grand Finals at the expense of the taxpayer. Other controversial trips involving her husband in recent years included a trip to the F1 in Melbourne last year, a trip in Adelaide which included a birthday party for a friend, another to Thredbo this year during the ski season. Family reunion entitlements permit federal MPs to claim as many as 3 return business class flights per year for members of their family on the proviso that the travels between MP's electorate and a destination other than Canberra. Now, maybe not. Maybe she isn't outside the rules, but given questions over her travel offshore as well, and you remember the New York trip, there were trips to Switzerland and France in 2023, plus these domestic trips, Wells is treading a very fine line and probably not passing the pub test.
Yeah. Okay. Story number 3. Close to 1 million Australian workers hold more than one job, with those in community and personal care more likely to have multiple employers.
According to the Bureau of Statistics, there were 973,000 multiple job holders in the September quarter, 6.5% of people employed. That compares to about 14 million single job holders. Around 7.6% of that total women, 5.6% men. In the 25 years before COVID, far fewer people had to hold 2 jobs. There was about 5 or 6% did. That actually went even lower during COVID because people only could have one job, but then surged in mid-2022 and has never really recovered.
Story number 4. It isn't an exaggeration to say that the world is watching very, very closely Australia's social media ban for under 16-year-olds. It kicks off tomorrow. The New York Times, the BBC, a stack of other international publications are all reporting on the world first.
From tomorrow, children under the age of 16 are banned from having social media accounts. Think Facebook, Instagram, Kik, Reddit, Snapchat, Threads, TikTok, Twitch, X and YouTube. They've all implemented new rules and processes to prevent children accessing social media sites. The onus is on the social media sites, not the parents. If they don't take appropriate steps, they could be fined $49.5 million. Bunch of other nations watching Malaysia's already passed similar legislation. European Union says it's watching. Denmark's promised to ban under 15-year-olds. I just wish parents well.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, last one. Story number 5. Qantas finally has all its A380s back in the air, with the 10th Super Jumbo returning to Sydney after nearly 6 years in storage and heavy maintenance.
Named Paul McGuinness after one of the airline's founders, the A380 spent 3 years in the California desert due to the COVID pandemic and then another 2.5 years in Abu Dhabi, undergoing maintenance to ensure its safe return to flying. It's the largest maintenance check completed in Qantas's 105-year history. 100,000 hours of work, representing a significant milestone for its engineering and fleet renewal programs. Also had a full cabin refresh. The aircraft, which hadn't been on Australian soil for 2,000 days, touched down late last week. It will serve as an operational spare during the Christmas period from January 1. It'll boost international capacity by allowing daily A380 flying on Qantas's Sydney-Dallas route, according to The Australian.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Tuesday, the 9th of December 2025. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. That is very important. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you're going to find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 business news by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.